everybody, and welcome to Recipe Roulette, a cooking show where we
showcase our dairy-loving cat?
I thought it was have enough whiskey to make a portable sauce.
Wait. Show off our adorable mascot?
Sweat the onions like we're Richard Simmons?
No. I know.
What?
We're gonna choose a recipe book, open to a page at random, and make whatever it says.
That's totally a plan. But we're gonna keep everything else, right?
Of course.
Okay, Casby, you can stay. Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Recipe Roulette.
So tonight we are using Betty Crocker's cookbook, and the recipe we chose out of this is chili con carne.
Which means chili with meat. But we're not using meat, we're using vegetarian meat.
So it's more like chili con veggie carne.
Kind of.
Well, let's look at the ingredients anyways.
Alright, let's look at those ingredients.
Okay, so our ingredients for this chili con veggie carne. So we got a package of chorizo crumbles, a large onion chopped up, 2 cloves of garlic. We're gonna crush those. And
half a teaspoon of cayenne, half a tablespoon of chili powder, tablespoon and a half of smoked paprika, a teaspoon of oregano, 2 teaspoons of cumin, a teaspoon of salt.
And then we got a teaspoon of cocoa powder. Oops. Did you back up there, Monk? Use a half a teaspoon of a red pepper sauce. We're using chipotle hot sauce tonight. And 2 diced up whole tomatoes. And 2 cups of mixed beans. It looks like we've got black beans and kidney beans.
Black beans, chili beans, and pinto beans.
So we got a bean mixture. Of course, you can use whatever bean you have around or you prefer for this. Okay, let's look at putting this together.
Alright, so this is a little bit different than my chili recipe, so had to remember how to follow other people's chili recipes. So let's put some oil into our big pot. Let's get our onions in there. Now, if you're using actual meat, you're going to want to brown your meat, and then drain off the fat, but we're using veggie crumbles, so we don't have to worry about all that fat draining and pre-cooking. So I got my onions in there, I got it heating up. Grab my garlic press in some onions while I'm heating. Press in some garlic into my onions. Press in some onions. What are you thinking, Fat? It's been a long day of work. Subbing over on the West Bank.
For those of you not in in New Orleans, the West Bank means across the Mississippi River Bridge, and it's actually like south of New Orleans, but yeah, we call it the West Bank because cardinal directions don't make sense in New Orleans.
No, they don't. My internal compass is completely messed up. Alright, so when you're using a garlic press, you might be tempted to take a knife and scrape with the blade across the press. That actually dulls your knife edge. Use the back of your knife. Scrape across. Get all your garlicky goodness off the blade into the pan. Start to hear my onions starting to sizzle. Grab my spatula. Start giving these a toss. Because remember, here we like to sweat our onions. So keep these going. Looking for them to turn translucent. About halfway there already. Second. Alright. Rip open the bag of veggie crumbles, get them ready to be dumped in. Back to sweating our onions. Move those onions. Sweat those onions. Remember, you want to add just a few teaspoons of water in with this veggie meat. And you're cooking it. Get your spice plate in here. And start blooming those spices. And filling this kitchen with all that beautiful spice. Flavor. Just keep stirring this around until you start feeling, oh, there it is. Spices just hit me across the face. Beautiful wave of that smoked paprika. Alright. Now we put in our tomatoes. And pretty much the water from the tomatoes is going to be like the replacement for the veggie stock in cooking this. Wanted to use whole fresh tomatoes instead of the can like the recipe originally called for. So I might actually gonna add a little veggie stock to that. Because normally when you have canned tomatoes, there's a bit of water in with that impacted. I got about half a cup. That looks more like a cup. I got a cup of veggie stock I'm going to add to this. Just so we have that liquid. It's going to help break everything down. Yeah. So if you're using fresh, if you're using just a canned tomatoes, you don't need to add the veggie stock. If you are using fresh, don't want that canned tomato taste. You want that fresh, local tomato taste. Just add a cup of your homemade soup stock. Hopefully you guys are all starting to do that by now. Remember, save your veggie scraps. I actually use the save the tops of these tomatoes for the next batch. I saved the peel of the onion. I saved the peel of the garlic and the root pieces of the garlic, as well as the root pieces of the onion for the stock. So while you're cooking, you can always just fill a gallon bag of any vegetable scraps you have. You know, if there's nasty bits on there, cut those off, throw those away. You don't want to use nasty veggies to you'll end up with nasty stock, and nasty stock ain't good. Just use only the good parts that would normally just end up in the landfill. So, alright, that started to boil, so I'm going to reduce that heat down to a simmer. Put my lid on, set my timer for 60 minutes. And we'll be back in just a second for you, an hour for us, to show you the next step.
So our timer's gone off, and we've got sizzly, sizzly pot of goodness here. I'm gonna add the beans, our cocoa powder, and a couple of dabs of the hot sauce. So it's about a half a teaspoon. I'm just gonna go. That looks good. And I'm gonna stir up this pot. All mixed in. Shred all that flavor goodness out. And I'm gonna put my cover back on and my timer on for 20 minutes. And we'll see you for the first bite.
Alright, and it is time for the first bite. Going in for a second one.
It's got some good flavor.
Oh yeah, it does. It's really good.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so next week.
Yeah, because I really want to get... Okay. Next week's episode is going to be...
So we're going back to Simply in Season. I know we just did a recipe from this book. But we're going to use it again because we're actually going strawberry harvesting on the weekend. So we want to use something using those fresh strawberries. So I went to the index for strawberry recipes, and there are 8 of them.
So we got the handy dandy D8. 1.
Okay, we got a chilled berry sauce.
What a chilled berry sauce. We'll figure out what's going to go with that. But chilled berry sauce, that sounds good.
It does.
And this chili is amazing, and I just want to scarf down on it. It really, just a little note. I usually put a lot more vegetables into my chili. So, but this is a good simple chili.
Yeah, it's really nice. Got some complex flavors, even though, it's laid on veggies.
But it's a good, this is a good, thick, hearty chili. It'll definitely fill you out.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, well, we'll see you back next week. Chilled berry sauce, kind of the exact opposite of what we got here.
Yeah, this is definitely the savory and hot dish, and that's going to be the cold and sweet dish. So, we're bouncing to the other extreme next week.
Okay, bye everybody.
Peace. Alright.
Please don't tell me that's going to be the outro.
Oops. It's really good, and I just want to scarf it down.
I know, it's just the silly noises are a bit on the extreme. Can we
Oh, just let me tell the story of how Bryant used to do that whenever he was we saw Police Academy, and then Brent started doing that whole whenever his mom was eating a burger or something. It was hilarious.